Look at how some information is reported. Look at how other information is ignored. That shows you that there's a superstructure, that the media is a subset of a bunch of other interests, and particular stories flow down and other stories get knocked back. That's all we're saying.
Is a really strong indication that infected animals were there, including raccoon dogs.
Raccoon dogs? Never heard of them before. Why are they suddenly in the news? Raccoon dogs, they may look cute, but they're actually real little bastards. If you have one of them come near you, be careful. It may have a new and potentially lucrative disease in its mouth that if you get it, suddenly Albert Bourla is looking a little taller.
The findings support the theory that COVID-19 jumped from animals to humans.
Look at this graph. How intelligent do they think you are and I am to give us a graph like this? What is that graph give? Over here, we have a raccoon dog, and then we got a big, giant coronavirus. They're not actually that big, because otherwise we'd see them. We'd be able to knock them away with tennis rackets. Not Djokovic, that son of a gun. He better not go near him. He'd probably die instantaneously. But it's gone from raccoon dog, see there, to an inexplicably naked lady. The graph's not giving you any new information, is it? Hold on, how's it getting from the dog to the lady? Well, you know, it's traveling through air on that thing. Oh, okay. Thanks for the news.
But researchers say it is not a smoking gun.
It's not conclusive because you can't prove the chain of events for how an animal got infected.
Yet more conjecture then. Even in the news report they're admitting, here's some stuff we're essentially giving you to dilute your certainty that the Wuhan Institute of Virology are culpable for this leak and all of the connotations that would lead you to reflect on about the way that that industry is regulated, the subsequent response, the indemnity given to pharmaceutical companies subsequently, the position of Anthony Fauci during the entire pandemic, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and where they invest their money. Forget all of that and look at this raccoon dog and this inexplicably naked lady.
You can't even technically prove the raccoon dog was infected.
All they're essentially saying is, hey, would you like to see something that's a bit like a raccoon and a bit like a dog? Yeah, I would actually. Good. Would you also like us to take the heat off an emerging idea that makes the pharmaceutical industry and several government agencies culpable for one of the biggest disasters in recent history? And before you think about the second one, raccoon dog. Raccoon dog.
The raccoon dogs themselves weren't actually sampled.
Exactly.
They've not even done any tests on the raccoon dog. Sorry, is there such a thing as raccoon dogs? I don't know, to be honest. It just sounded cute. Too early in the process to put this on the news. Look, can you cobble together a graphic of a little white silhouette dog, a little white silhouette lady, a bloody great big coronavirus, and a double-ended arrow? Oh, yeah, we can do that, sir. Okay, let's call that the news.
China has been widely criticized for not allowing an independent investigation into the origins of the virus.
They won't allow an independent investigation. They're just trotting out the raccoon dog, just ushering out a pack, a herd. What do you call them? Well, we don't actually know what the collective noun for raccoon dogs is. Do we know what caused this coronavirus pandemic? We basically do, yeah. But have another look at this cute gaggle of raccoon dogs. It might not be gaggle.
This new analysis sure to fuel the heated and often political debate.
Do you sometimes think that the news has gone wrong when it's a heated and political debate? There's just two raccoon dogs. What? Sorry? What are we doing now? Keep walking towards the camera. Maybe they'll give us a biscuit.
In a classified report to Congress, the Department of Energy concluded with low confidence that COVID-19 leaked from a Wuhan lab. The FBI also believes the lab may be the source.
So it could be raccoon dogs. Catch them now before their new animated movie franchise starts. Or it could be this. Top scientific advisors told Congress earlier this month there's mounting evidence COVID leaked from the Wuhan lab and accused Dr. Anthony Fauci of trying to cover up the claims because they didn't fit his narrative. Experts, including a former Biden staffer and Donald Trump's CDC director, testified to the House subcommittee investigating COVID that taxpayer-funded gain of function likely caused the virus that came from a Chinese facility. So it's either taxpayer-funded gain of function research or those adorable dogs. I'll leave it to you to decide. And now, a former CDC director whose name sounds too much like a Hollywood actor.
We had to really seriously go after the fact that it came from the lab. And they knew that that was how I was thinking, although I thought we had to go after both hypotheses. And I was told later, I didn't know I was excluded. I didn't know there was a February 1st conference call until the Freedom of Information came out with the emails, and I was quite upset. as the CDC director that I was excluded from those discussions.
What Robert Redfield says is interesting, isn't it? That there are two hypotheses, investigate both hypotheses, and then maybe draw conclusions. Isn't that like what science was when you were literally at school? Okay, we are gonna study only one hypothesis. What about the lab leak one? Listen, let me show you these dogs. They look like they're wearing a Zorro mask. Surely that is more interesting than a bunch of stuff in a boring laboratory. Zorro mask.
Why would they do this?
Because I had a different point of view, and I was told they made a decision that they would keep this confidential until they came up with a single narrative, which I will argue is antithetical to science.
Robert Redfield's explanation sounds eerily similar to what we've all long suspected actually happened, that they had a preference for a particular perspective and promoted a lot of information that led to that perspective while excluding information that might challenge it. And all the time that they were saying follow the science, what they actually meant was follow the science that we're giving you access to, because we don't want you looking at this science because it's a counter-narrative that we cannot accommodate, because if we accommodate it, we will at some point become culpable for this entire pandemic. Allegedly. Some Democratic representatives at the hearings warned that accusing Fauci of ill motives would further erode trust in government health officials threatening public health. If you accuse this person of being dishonest, are you not aware that that will cause people not to trust that person? Yeah, but what if they shouldn't trust that person because he's excluding important data from the international conversation? Listen, do you know what a raccoon dog is? Get one in. Get one in. Look how, ow, you little bastard. Oh, God. Wait, hold on. Nope, nothing's wrong with me. It's not done anything. Now, I'm just gonna go get myself a Band-Aid from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Excuse me a second. Oh, God, I ain't feeling too good. That goddamn raccoon dog! Maybe Fauci's coming round to the lab leak theory now that the evidence is mounting, and surely he won't present some sort of bizarre magic bullet version of a lab leak theory to make it sound absolutely ridiculous and exculpate himself from blame.
And on this theory of a lab leak, I've been wondering this. Do we have any idea how that would even work?
Well, yeah, I got an idea. They didn't have proper safety procedures and it got out of the lab either via a person or through a faulty air vent or through a variety of other means or through an infected animal, all sorts of ways. But what about you, Fauci? Have you got some sort of weird way that it could have happened so that no one that you've been financially or otherwise involved with will be in any way to blame?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Jim.
Because it enables me to issue some propaganda, which I will now do, no matter how implausible it may sound. And if you don't like it, wait, get the raccoon dog, get the raccoon dog. I've got something very cute to distract you with.
A lab leak could be that someone was out in the wild.
Yeah, they're out in the wild.
Maybe looking for different types of viruses in bats.
Yeah, they will be doing that. That is part of their job, actually, because that's what's made so many people speculate it came from there, because they do go and get bats with coronavirus and then accelerate and enhance the functions of that virus, and potentially maybe something could go wrong. But carry on.
Got infected, went into a lab, and was being studied in the lab, and then it came out of the lab. But if that's the definition of a lab leak, Jim, then that still is a natural occurrence.
Still doesn't lead to me or any of my affiliates or anyone I've received royalties from being in any way culpable. Get the raccoon dog, get the raccoon dog. I've already seen the raccoon dog. Shit mouse? No, I'm sorry. Tit frog?
There are no lab leaks that have led to pandemics.
Oh, I can think of one.
So there have been accidents in a lab that happens intermittently. We've had experiences with that in modern times recently.
Like 2019?
But there have never been a situation where a virus escaped from a lab that's a brand new virus.
Do you notice Anthony Fauci's willingness to investigate meandering theories around raccoon dogs and people popping off into the woods to get a bat and maybe dropping it on the bus on the way home? But his unwillingness to accept that there have previously been lab leaks that haven't led to entirely original viruses. And I suppose if you're doing gain of function, they wouldn't be entirely original, would they? Because they're being amended and adapted. But he's never willing to investigate routes of analysis that might lead to personal or institutional culpability. What a coincidence.